Smash Factor.
Ripping driver, going for it. Oh my goodness. How about that tee shot?
That is crazy how far that is.
Wow. John Daly, take a back seat, big fella. How about that drive?
That's an aggressive line. That is beyond long.
Look at this, he's just driven the green. He has just driven the green.
I guess hello world, huh?
Welcome everybody to the Smash Factor Week 39 on the 2021-2022 PGA Tour, the Rocket Mortgage Classic. Coming off another great week for the community. Really good week overall. I thought the tournament was fun. You know, the Piercy collapse with Finau just getting hot. I don't know if I saw that because I think, what was he, through 12? He was still 4 up or so. And man, did it fall apart in a hurry for him, and Finau just started dropping putts. So good finish. I had some sweat. DFS wise, you know, solid week overall. Didn't have sweat in the Fantasy Golf World Championship. I got 8th in that. Didn't matter. It was a top 150, move on. There is no no bonus prize for 8th or 149th. They just move on to the next round. It does move up your minimum amount of money you will make when you make it to round 2. Hopefully can get in the top 40 this week and make the live finals for the St. Jude FedEx Cup. Week 1 of the playoffs is when they're doing the finals, which is the same week I will probably do the Listener League finals for the PGA. We'll have prizes and stuff like that like we do every year. Saturday, round 3, hit a nice 10K hit, plus got a 444 ticket. I thought we were done with 444s and millionaire makers, but looks like they are going to do it for the BMW Championship, which is, I believe, the first time we've had one outside of TPC or the 4 majors. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I don't remember one being in the FedEx Cup playoffs last year. And about broke even on main, minus the, you know, obviously the Fantasy Golf World Championship, you know, securing more money into that next week. Like the player pool, missed on the bad chalk and hit most of the good chalk. It was one of those weeks I talked about a lot Wednesday on the pod, and plus, you know, in some of the final thoughts and all that, was that there was going to just be more higher owned guys than we're used to seeing, because there was only, I think it was like 15 guys or something, 14 or 15 guys in the 8,000 or above, which we just rarely see that few, and none of them were under 10%, or maybe you had one under 10 in my final projections. Whereas this week we have 19 guys. So it'll be spread out a little more. So you had to kind of define chalk a little bit different. And just, you know, some of us, I don't want to say getting lucky, but, you know, good chalk, bad chalk, all that. Unless you avoided 8, 9, and 10K all the way, which you weren't going to get there on, you know, with some of the guys that made it. You were going to have to eat some chalk and fade some. So I had 0 Sevenson. I had who was some of the other bad chalk misses? We're going to see. I had a little bit of Thagala, not a bunch. Steele, I think, was another one up there. I didn't have any of him. There was a few that I know. Sevenson was a big one because he was 53% owned, I think, in the Fantasy Golf World Championship deal there. So that helped out a bunch. But it's just a weird week all the way around. So a little bit normal this week, a little bit better feel, a little bit more inline pricing that we're used to. So I don't think we'll see. I think we'll be a little bit normal. And also main slate, Sunday was brutal. I entered 4 qualifiers for main slate for the 444. A total of about $140, and all 4 of them I was winning or in second all day long. I finished top 5 in all 4, but 0 wins. So that's kind of brutal when you're right there on the cusp all day long and couldn't get one across. Betting wise, we hit Taryn, top 20 hit, got her up, struggled out of the gate, but battled back. He got a T31, so we didn't get that top 20, but did get the top 20 on Taryn. Had a Finau Ekrot double that really, I never thought Finau was really going to get back into it. Thought maybe he had a chance, but, you know, I figured it was going to be hard with that big of a lead for Piercy on Sunday. But and then Eckroth was sitting there pretty good, but he only shot a 1 under. But I don't think anybody was going to catch Kocher. He won it by like 6 or 7, so no real sweat on the outrights. I did hit a 6-star bet. Very rare for me to release one. I released one for round 4. We hit that. So I always add these up later on, you know, going into Tuesday, and I have them on the Wednesday pod for sure. The total betting. The 6-star bet definitely should help us make profit on the week. Promos right now, Smash gets you 20% off any package, includes a 7-day risk-free trial. So you sign up now, you get all the way, you know, a full week, no charge, no nothing. Cancel anytime in that 7 days, you never see a charge, period. If you let it roll, then you can upgrade later, keep that same code or that same discount for life as long as you remain a member. Rate and review us on iTunes. I'll be doing big giveaways for the NFL kickoff season, college football kickoff season. So all the rating and reviews, and then the subscribe to this channel. Like us, like this video, and in the comment section, tell me who you want to fade in the 10K range. Only 4 this week, so you know, very small range in general. But we did get 5 9K, so 9 this week. I think last week we had 7, and pretty tight pricing all the way around. No one in the 11,000s. Cantley, Finau, Willie Z, and Cam Young all priced within $600 of those 4. So tell me of those 4 who you want to fade the most this week, and that'll get you into that drawing for the NFL college football kickoff we will do in late August. Listener League, last week's winner, Fox Force 5, 535 points, had Finau, M, Poston, Putnam, Lee Hodges, and Garnett. A lot of familiar faces to my pool as well. I don't think I had any Putnam, though. So either way, he was battling all of us. We were all right there. I know Gore 49er had a good lineup in there. Several people had good lineups right up there, and he pulled away there at the end. So congrats to him. He will get the invite to get into the Listener League championship. We'll probably do during the BMW championship since it lines up well with, not the BMW, the St. Jude FedEx Cup round 1. Listener League link is in the description. So go ahead and click on that. Get in there. You got what? Rocket Mortgage, Wyndham. So two more weeks to get in, have a chance in there for the end of the year tournament as well. Course preview, Detroit Golf Club. It's the 4th year here. Pretty straightforward. Our boy Kenny Kim will have a full breakdown on the site. Par 72, 7,300 yards, 4 par 5s, 4 par 3s. Pretty standard. Pretty forgiving off the tee. Link does help, but it's not the end all be all. Short guys can contend here as well. For me, I think it really is going to come down to opportunities. We have it on our scoring opportunities inside whatever bucket you want to look at. 18 feet will probably be where I kind of look at. You can go out to 24, 36 if you want to on the site. So who's giving themselves the most chances, and then putting, which is always the hardest variable stat for us to gauge, but it's kind of what it will come down to this week. There's not near hardly any trouble compared to last week. So you can be a little more aggressive on the driver if you need to. Being in the fairway is probably a plus, just so you have a better chance at getting that closer to the pin. That's where that scoring out comes in. I'll be looking at stuff like that. Birdie or better, par 5 DK scoring. In the bent POA mix, which we've seen here, anytime we have that, especially on these kind of courses, I'm going with the bent. This isn't West Coast, all that kind of stuff. So I'll just use bent. People can use whatever they want, but I use bent when I'm looking at the stats. Weather this week looks perfect. Been very hot for everywhere. We all know that. I think we're going to have the 2nd hottest July ever in Oklahoma. Top 3, I think, for sure right now. We got a few days left. But it's been hot there. Does look to be cooling down a little bit this week. They did get a little bit of rain last week. But I think probably more dried out. Probably I bet the rough won't be as thick. They water it, but it's definitely been a hot July and June even up there. I see the cut being -3, -4, somewhere in that range. Winner probably -19, -20. Past winners, Cam Davis last year, Bryson 2 years ago, Lashley 3 years ago. Last year played a little tougher. I think the wins were up. I don't see much win this week, but 18 under in a playoff. But the prior 2 years, even though 25 and 23 under won, like Lashley, he won by 6 strokes. Remember, this is this is where the doc of the week came from. Doc got second here. I called the top 5 that week. We had one of the biggest winning weeks ever for Gup's Corner. I know it was well over 500,000, close to maybe $750,000 outside of what this year at the PGA Championship, we had 2 millionaire makers. So you don't get the millionaire makers every week. So for a non-milli maker week, it was definitely a massive week for the community. Could have even approached close to $1 million, but this is where the doc of the week came from. He finished second, but if you remember, DraftKings, Nate Lashley wasn't there. DraftKings was not adding guys Tuesday and even sometimes Wednesday like they are now. It was like when the field came out Monday, that was it. I don't even think because I think he was a Monday Q. They weren't adding the Monday Q guys into the field after they did that. This may have been one of the reasons why they started to, because the winner wasn't in any DraftKings lineup. So theoretically, Doc Redman was the highest scoring player that week because no winner was in there. He was first round leader. Lashley was. He was nowhere on the first round leader betting boards. Stuff like that. So it was a great week for us. Hopefully we get some good juju from that and have a good week this week. Let's see. Again, this is only the 4th year. So course history has small downgrade. Course fit, I bring in a couple other comp courses. I don't put it real high this week. I mean, we've seen it's real funny that Lashley won and has missed the next 2 cuts. Cam Davis missed his first 2 cuts and then won. So kind of tells you that I don't want to go back to the putting deal, but it could be just, is your putter hot that week? More likely than not. Because you're going to need to make a lot of birdies, to be up there in contention. And I think that could bring the volatility type stuff we see, guys, top 20 and then missing cut. So I definitely downgrade that some, maybe bump putting a little bit, especially recent form putting. Guys, they could potentially get hot. Very hard to predict that, but definitely something we got to look at this week. Salary ranges, we have 4 in the 10K, 5 in the 9K, 10 in the 8K, 41 in the 7K, and 90 in the 6K right now. Probably get 4 or 5 more in the 6K range, more likely than not. So a ton of guys down there. Similar to last week, but we do have a little bit more up top to choose from and spread out some of that ownership. Sweet 16 for me, had a lot of new followers, had a lot of new signups in the last couple weeks. Really appreciate that. I do my top 3 picks and a bubble boy in each salary range. And then I do a fade of the week, sleeper of the week, gut feel plays, top 5 of the pop, and 2 long shots provided by Prize Picks. And then we kind of wrap it up and I come back Wednesday with a deep dive and final thoughts. 9K and above, Cam Young is probably where I go. He'll probably be popular. We'll see how that plays out. Obviously, the second place finish at the Open. He doesn't have the best bent putting splits, but I think because of how good his irons can be, and he's going to be closer than a lot of people, hitting it because he hits good drives really well. Which takes accuracy plus a percentage over the field. And so at 10-1, I just kind of like him for this course. Probably expect him to be pretty popular because with the other guys in that range, especially the 10K range, Finau coming off the win. Typically, you don't see many go back there, especially he's $100 cheaper than the most expensive. So most people probably blow that off. Cantley, been on a pretty good run. I don't mind Cantley, but he's the highest priced. We'll see how many people want to pay up for that. And then Willie Z, I think we'll probably hear some of the narrative this week. A, the putting. B, kind of you got a 77th here. Can he score enough will be kind of a theme you'll probably hear a lot of. I probably don't mind. I think he'll be lower owned than what he should be. I don't mind him in more of the MME type world. 1 to 3 max, I'll be iffy on that. But, so I see Young kind of being, he's the cheapest, and I love his upside. You just watched him finish with a great finish at the Open. So he's a recognizable name. He was on TV a lot with Cam Smith. And then right below it, you got a lot of guys. So if you kind of want to start balanced-ish, you can go like Young Homa, Young Davis. Davis will probably be popular. Good week last week. Won here last year. Has a prototype. So I could see that being a good starting part, but I still like him. So I'm just going to stay on him this week. I stayed on Finau last week for the same reasons, even though I knew he's going to be popular. And just try to be different elsewhere. You fade like a Sevenson, you know he's going to be super popular. If that guy misses, well, then my Finau doesn't matter how popular it was. Because if you go back and look at, you know, some of the stuff I do on Sunday night, well, how many Finau Sevenson lineups were killed instantly come Friday night type of deal. You know, but you know, that there's a little bit of, you need the ball to bounce your way, you know, because if, you know, he makes the cut or he top tens with Finau, you know, that's an uphill battle. So the player pool comes into matter, but you especially on terms like this week, maybe a little bit next week, you got to eat a little bit of chalk and just find out where you want to be different. And I talk about that all the time over with the community. My second play is Cam Davis. I kind of feel like maybe we get a hair. Like I feel like if he would have won last week and Finau finished 16th or something, you could have played those the opposite. You know, so he was up there, had some runs. We know his game in general is a roller coaster, but there's a reason he fits really well here. He won here last year, right? But he has missed two cuts in the past. So will that keep ownership down? Probably not. Price maybe a little, 9,700. Maybe people don't want to stomach that, especially with Homa, who I think will be very popular, if not the most popular this week at 9,900. I'll go back to Davis. I don't mind him at all. And then Cantley's my third. I think highest priced. People will love to kind of be a little more balanced this week. Maybe don't want to pay up. I'll go back to him, similar to Finau, but see, Finau was top 3 owned last week. I don't see Cantley getting up there like that, even though I think Finau was 10.6 and Cantley's 10.7 as the highest priced. Because last week it was really, what was it? Sungjae, Matsu, Finau, and Matsu and Finau didn't bring a ton of ownership. In some contests they did, but some didn't. And everybody just dropped down and loaded up. Here, a lot more to choose from right there. So I think Cantley could be owned, but not near as high owned. And then my bubble boy is Willie Z. I'm just going to kind of see how the community and the industry plays with that and what's everybody's kind of push there. If I'm getting him at lower ownership, because some of the narratives, I definitely don't mind him in some MME this week, stuff like that. So that's why he's a bubble boy. Just kind of see where he comes in on the ownership stuff. AK, I'll go back to Mav. Was another somewhat popular last week. Did okay. Just made the cut. For a little while, I got nervous on Friday. I think he doubled 9. I think he went double, birdie, double, and then birdie or something like that. It was crazy. You know, he's +2 at that time. Looked like +1 was going to be the cut. Finished strong though. Birdie 17, birdie 18. Got the cut. Just did okay throughout the week, but he's had two good runs here. So he's a candidate, especially with the price, only 8,800. Maybe because a lot of people had him and only a 49th that they don't feel the love per se. But I like him a lot. I'll go back to him, a 21st here and an 8th here. Nothing I hate about him. You know, will definitely be a guy that I look at. I don't think he'll be like super chalky, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Davis Riley, that's what we're getting to now. That was the other guy I was thinking of. So he was a tough one. I'll be honest. He was back and forth in my Fantasy Golf World Championship lineup when I was trying to figure out who to be light on, who not. You know, and then not only that, the pool, but you know, Riley was a guy who decided not to play in that and be very light on the week. I may not have had very little, none of my 1 to 3 max stuff in Sevenson. So those two were very high owned and missed the cut. And so, you know, that just, the ball, you know, broke our way that time. So I don't mind that at all. $8,600, bounce back, the flop lag, if you will. Barely missed the cut. He actually I think he missed it by 1 or on the number. You know, I think he shot +2, +1 was the cut. Been playing great. Maybe a lot of people jump off him even more so than a Mav. So maybe you go back to him this week and you know, so I like that. I think I'll be there. Hubbard probably could be one of the chalkier pieces of the week, top 5 potentially. He's got a 12th here and a miscut. He got 3rd at the Barbasol. Putting, he's 15th in the field. Course fit, 23rd for me. Recent form rank, 21st for me. Not as strong off the tee, but 13th. Good approach, 12th, opportunities inside 18 feet, 23rd, birdie or better, 4th, par 5 DK scoring. A lot of things I like about that. I can see why he'll be popular, but I do like him this week. And then Bubble Boys Thigala. Didn't have him in any in the Fantasy Golf World Championship lineup, but I did have him elsewhere, so he did sting. Fought back a little bit, but just couldn't get it closed. Did miss the cut. and he was one at hindsight. I was kind of like, man, I really should have, because I thought about this, but just didn't play on it. Was that he got in late to the Open. So, he gets done, I think, with it may have been the John Deere or something like that. Doesn't think he's getting the Open, gets in the Open, has to go over there, not last minute, but, he didn't have it planned, and then come back and play the 3M. Maybe should have been off him to kind of let him readjust that. Young guy, maybe not used to it. But now he misses the weekend, gets his things together, probably cost a lot of people a lot last week. So it's really interesting there with Riley, Tagala, even Mav. Even though Mav made the cut, all three let down versus their expectations last week, all around the same price. So I'll be interested to kind of see how ownership feels and the industry feels on those three this week. I don't mind Tagala. Probably only have 2 of those 3, but we'll have to see how that plays out. That's why he's kind of the bubble boy for me in the 8K range. 7K range, got her up. I'll go back to him. Just not quitting that. Started horrible again. He's had some bad starts. Fought back, made the cut. Like I said at the top of the pod, gets a T31. Just playing really well. Limited stats, but a lot more than we have had. My 6 stat categories, he's 8th, 2nd, 1st, 5th, 10th, and 32nd. So for $7,400, do we see the skyrocket ownership like we did? What was it, the Canadian Open or something like that, where he missed the cut? I don't know, but I definitely like him. I think he may be kind of underpriced for the field, but I'm going to stay on him. We'll get to him a little bit later. I like him in the betting market. So 7,400, I'll go back to got her up. Ju-Young Kim he was the highest owned in the Fantasy Golf World Championship last 61%, I want to say, which I knew he was going to be high. I had him in my lineup kind of as that safe play, and you're just it was basically like you're trying to do a 50-50 or a cash for you guys to play those, because there's 300 guys in it week 1 and 150 get to advance. Did not think he'd be that high. I was like, wow. $7,600. He's accurate off the tee, but sometimes struggles with the link. Not struggles, but not as long. At times he can get a little wayward. I think this course may set up a little better for him. Still good finish last week. 26th, 47th at the Open, 3rd at the Scottish. Approach 20th, 3rd opportunities inside 18 feet, 9th birdie or better, 6th par 5 DK scoring. That price, I don't think he gets up to that kind of ownership this week, but, did well, had a really good Sunday. I think Saturday he may have been in my lineup too. But Sunday did okay. So 26th, I like it. Ownership would probably dictate there. Do we see that come back again this week? Now he wasn't 63% in some of the normal stuff, but so we'll see where he is on the ownership scale. Taryn, a little worried that I was on him last week. I liked him, had him top 20. A little worried that he may be kind of the flavor of the week. We'll see. 7,100, I think, is a great price. 27th in stats, 10th in course fit, 29th in bent putting, 7th last week. Had a good Sunday himself. Fought back. He got off the rails a little bit early and then had a really good back nine. I like when guys finish like that on the back nine. His approach can be, iffy at times, but on a course like this, again, similar to last week, he's going to be so close so many times that it's going to give him an advantage. I mean, he can hit the ball really well off the tee. 12th in great drives for us, 12th in birdie or better, 36th in par 5 DK. So all that, and coming in, what was he, 45th in recent form, but that price, 7,100, make the cut and give me upside. And that just kind of screams him this week. So I wonder how popular he'll be. Pendrith, he's bubble boy because I can see him being a flavor of the week as well. Course fits him well. Great off the tee. Can make birdies. He's 7th in the field, birdie or better. 2nd in draft par 5 DK scoring. 13th at the Barbasol. I think he was top 15 at the Barracuda. Those are his 2 tournaments since he's returned from the injury. So, picking up steam again, getting hot. I like him, but we'll see how popular he gets at 7,500. 6K range. I'm going to go Whaley, 6,800. Where I just dropped him. Okay, there he is. 5th at the Barbasol. He made the cut here once at 58, missed the cut in 2020. Again, not putting a whole lot of weight on that. We did, like I said, Cam Davis, same type of deal. Stats wise, he's really, really solid. 4th in birdie or better, 11th in par 5 DK scoring, 22nd in opportunities inside 18 feet. Top 30 and 40 and great drives and good approach. So enough there for that price. Definitely a guy, and 6K range isn't as healthy as I like to go down to normally. But he's one I don't mind getting some pieces of this week. Michael Kim, $6,400. Yes, that Michael Kim. Interested to see if he's starting to get on people's radars again. He famously won, I think it was a John Deere Classic in 2018. Only main reason I remember that was it was my first 6K or my first 100K hit. Because no one had him. And so similar to the Doc Redmond week, in 2019 here, that 2018, I had like second, third, fifth, seventh or something in my lineups. No one had him. And then he went on to miss felt like 50 cuts in a row. And not being too far out of the way. Like he missed a lot, but he had, status cause he'd won, but quietly he was on my radar, a few weeks ago. Just took a note. He's missed a cut here 3 straight times. I would not pay attention to that because that Michael Kim was missing the cut everywhere. I had him pulled up here. So quietly though on the Korn Ferry Tour, doing well. Come over to the Barbasol, got 7th. But recently on the Korn Ferry, let's go back to even the 10 weeks ago. Knoxville Open, 16th, 12th, 23rd. 15th, 23rd, 18th, 7th, 3rd, and 13th with one missed cut in there in that time frame. So, yeah, it's all Korn Ferry stats. I get that. But Puerto Rico Open, PGA, again, weaker field, but 16th. So really turned around a lot. Maybe got his game a little bit found with dropping down to Korn Ferry. Last 4 weeks, an 18th, a 7th, a 3rd, and a 13th. I mean, 7th at Barbasol is actually an alternate field. That's not even Korn Ferry. So I like enough about that at 6,400. And upside is he's won on the tour. I know that was maybe a fluke and crazy, but these stats, very limited. And you go look at his Korn Ferry stats, but kind of mixed in. He's really not that bad. And at 6,400, if he's finding it, I'd like to jump on him early. So I like Michael Kim there. Lee Hodges maybe could be a little popular this week. I don't mind him. He is $6,800. Nothing that sticks out. 16th last week was kind of owned last week and paid off. So I could see people going back to him. Stats are okay. He's 57th in the field, 37th in recent form. Putting comes and goes. So that's something to probably keep an eye on. But he's very few guys I'm going to go to in the 6K range this week. He's one of them that I'll keep my eye on coming off that good finish last week. Chesson Hadley is 6,900. I like him even, but the reason why I got him as a bubble boy is he could be really high owned this week. Had some of them last week, was one of my higher owned in my MME stuff. 10th last week, 68th at Barbasol. Missed 2 cuts here, but got in a 52nd, but he seems like he's really coming into form and, all the way around, and he's a guy on the upswing. Could catch some eyes this week. We'll see. He's 22nd in the putting model this week in this field, so I like that as well. So he's a guy I'll keep an eye on. As long as he doesn't get stupidly owned, which I don't think anybody in the 6K range will. I don't mind him, but that's the reason why he's a bubble boy. Fade of the week right now would be Homa for me. Definitely could change. Really interested to see how things shake up top this week. When we listen to the whole industry and what people's perceptions are. Adam Scott's down there, Kisner's down there. Kisner's done really well here. Cam Davis, Keegan, if we take away the overseas portion, he was playing really well. Does he get looked down on that or go back to how he was before? Not sure. But his price seems really good in this field. So a lot of good options up there. Whereas last week we kind of were forced into some here, and here. This week I'm like, plenty of ways to go about it, which I like. And I think Homa may be the highest owned overall. Now, hadn't done great here, but okay. 42nd in 2019, 25th in 2020. And he ranks out fine for him. He's top 5, which makes sense. This would just be an ownership. That's simply the only reason why I'd be fade is I think he may be the highest owned on the slate. I don't mind going elsewhere. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong by that on Wednesday. I always give my final fade or update on that on Wednesday's pod for free if you want to check that out. It's always 15 to 20 minutes, so it's a quick listen, especially if you're kind of behind on the week. layest weather, latest ownership, latest, moved up, moved down, fades, all that stuff. Kind of go over real quickly if you're behind on the week, or you want to kind of see the latest information, even if you're not a member. It's a good pod to check out. Sleeper of the week, Michael. I'm gonna go Michael. I think it's Thorsson. I can't ever say that with the B in there. I know it's not. The B is kind of silent. He's an AM out of Stanford. I'm interested on him because I think anybody that runs models, especially short term, he's going to pop. He played tremendous at the Travelers. As far as I know, he's still an amateur. I tried to check that out before here, which typically we see these guys when they're down there. I think Goddard was there before at AM, but they were like in the early, mid sixes or something, and you kind of take a chance. 7,100, may people take more attention to him. But B, I wonder, does anybody go, well, I'm not playing him 7,100. He only got, very limited stats and could be a fluke. Because of that, I think would be less owned. I'll be interested to see how many people even talk about him. Definitely one of those, I've talked about this before on the pod, maybe in the Wednesday pod. I like pedigree guys, and I get on them earlier than most. Willie Z, Cam Young, Doc Redman, although, we may have caught him at his peak. He's up and down, but I like those guys that are really good. Tigala, really, really good pedigree guys in the amateur ranks, college, all that kind of stuff, and trying to be on them early, but not take the wait and see approach. So he's mine this week. We'll see if he gets talked up at all. Gliglick 7,000 is my first gut feel play of the week. Really playing well. 16th at Barbasol, 21st at Barbasol, 16th last week. Made the cut here last year, got a 41st. Missed the cut in 2020. Upside is there at bent putting. He's 28th in the field for 7,000. He's a guy that I like a lot on the gut field plays of the week. Number 2, Stallings. I could see him being a little bit popular. Nothing crazy. Has played well here. Made the cut all 3 years. Has gotten better all 3 years. 64th, 39th, 25th. Really good across the board. 35th in stats, 23rd in recent form, 13th in course fit, and 10th in bit putting. It's a guy I'll play. I don't see the 7K getting too much chalk this week. I think last week there was one guy or two guys over 10%. Because of so much concentration up top, but this week we have 41 guys in it. So unless he just gets stupid, I'm going to be on him this week. I like him. Vegas, this is kind of set up for him. I like a lot. Strong off the tee as always. Can make birdies, can get up there. 36 at the Scottish. I don't know if he played in the alternate field. He didn't play in the Barbasol. Didn't play last week, but 15th in par 5 DK scoring, 11th in good approach, 18th in great drive. All stuff I like this week. $7,400 is a good price, so he's a good safe play, MME wise probably. And I go back to Cam Champ. Played him last week. Up and down week. I think he started +6 at one point through Thursday and finished in 16th. So if you take away like the first probably 12 to 14 holes, was one of the better players. The rest of the 56 holes or so, 54 to 56 holes. 2 out of 3 made cuts here, a 46, a 12th, and a miscut. Obviously played well Sunday. Played him in Showdown. 16th last week after that horrible start. I don't mind going back to him. This course should fit him just as well as we've seen. 2 out of 3 made cuts. $7,600 feels like a good price. Again, don't think anybody's going to get super high on it. He may get a little bit of love after last week, but I'll usually go back to that. Betting 5, top 5 that pop in 2 long shots provided by Prize Picks. Link is in the description. Use the code GUP. Dollar for dollar match up to $100. They have FedEx Cup playoffs, best balls now up. If you want to go check those out, they'll have Thursday, round 1 only, best ball draft tournaments. They'll do pick'ems that I give away on Wednesday, but it's kind of cool to see the best ball. I don't remember them having best ball FedEx Cup playoffs. So you can get up to $100. Whatever you deposit, they match up to 100. Use that code GUP, G-U-P. Link is in the description there. I will have my plays on Wednesday as well. Top 5 for me, I like Pendrith 66, Vegas 66, Cam Davis 35 to 40, Taryn 80. McNeely 40, 2 long shots, got her up 100. Shop that around. I've seen him as low as 50, and I've seen him as good as 100. So I love it at 100. Don't mind it at 50, but if you can get to that 100, I'd get it. And then Vince Whaley 200 to 1. That's probably more of an each way bet, or top 5 if you have a top 20 even maybe. I like that one with those odds. Again, Wednesday I'll have my final 5 for one and done. come join us now. Smash 20% off, 7-day trial, free trial. Getting closer and closer to football, college football, NFL. We'll have that rocking and rolling, and we still got plenty of golf to sweat out as we approach the FedEx Cup playoffs. And it looks like DraftKings is going to juice up at least the BMW Championship, but I imagine they'll have some pretty good pots for all of them. So looking forward to that as well this week. Hope you guys have a blessed Monday night. I will be back Wednesday. Talk to you later. Thanks.